Are you in the middle class? Looking to buy a house, get an education while living in the middle class? Keep watching. What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the world according to Briggs. Are you part of the ever-shrinking backbone of America known as the middle class? Yes, the middle class is shrinking like it just jumped into the ocean in January. For some of you, the first question is, what is the middle class? Pew Research defines the middle class as people earning between 2/3 and double the median household income for the nation. This means that the category of middle class income is made up of people making somewhere between $41,000 and $123,000 as of 2019. So, do you fall into the middle class? In the 1970s, 61% of the United States adults were living in the middle class. As of 2019, it's down to 50% of us. That's why I say, yes, the middle class has shrinkage like it just jumped into the ocean in January. Most of us are falling into the lower income brackets with a small percentage moving on up, like George Jefferson. Today we're looking at the worst states to be in the middle class. And why? Let's take a look. Number 10, Colorado. To start off our warning video for the middle class, we have the Centennial State, Colorado. In case you're wondering why it's called the Centennial State, Colorado became a state 100 years after we became a nation. Colorado has been a migration hotspot off and on since the 1970s, all thanks to freaking John Denver. That man ignited interest in this state in the early 70s. There are other reasons, but when they surveyed baby boomers that lived in Colorado, a lot of them brought that up, quite often actually. They said it got their interest peaked and they ended up moving there and never left. It's bad enough when income averages are stagnant, but when they actually trend downwards, you got some problems. The 5-year change in middle class income households is minus 4.06%. So they're not making as much as they used to 5 years ago while things have gone up. Tuition in the colleges has gone up 22% in the last 5 years. That's for in-state tuition. The median home value has gone up 51.67%. And if you want to slap down 20% for a mortgage, you're looking at $85,000 in Colorado right now. All the while your incomes are shrinking. Number 9, New York. The Empire State comes in at number 9, and I'm sure most of you thought it was going to be one of the worst 5. I did. New York has seen one of the highest outward migrations in the nation the last few years, and it shows no signs of slowing down. I think the post-pandemic days will only speed this process up. The middle class is obviously the largest group leaving, and when you got stats like they have, it's not hard to see why. The 5-year change in middle class income has gone down 5.54%. The median home list price is $400,000. Actually, it's $399,900. $100 shy. That means if you want to have a 20% down payment for a house, you're looking at right around $80,000. Property tax here is killing people 1.68%. The monthly mortgage payment in New York, now this isn't just the city, this is through the whole state, is over $2,000. Yeah, there's a lot of reasons people are leaving New York. Wages and cost are two of the biggest ones. Number 8, Connecticut. I like Connecticut. I never hear many good things about the state, but I still like it. The people I know from New Haven and Bridgeport are really good people. Apparently, Hartford blows. And most of the other major cities, if you can call them major cities, they're kind of small cities, in this state have really bad stats. The Nutmeg State is kind of weird. It has a lot of rundown cities and towns that cost a lot to live in. I've said this before about the state, but it's very fitting. It's almost like they're telling the residents, we know this place sucks, but we're going to charge you like it doesn't. The 5-year change in the middle class income has dropped 6.1%. The median home list price is $325,000. That means if you're going to plop down your 20%, you're going to need almost $65,000. Property tax here is kind of where I told you we're going to charge you like it doesn't suck. It's 2.07%. Number 7, California. Again, I thought for sure we'd see the Golden State later on this list, but here it is. California has so many things going for it, people are still flooding in. The downside is they have so many bad things going on, it's causing longtime residents to run into the hills in horror. The middle class is being eliminated in California. The state has more people moving in each year than moving out, so it's still growing. Here's the rub. Most of the people moving in are upper middle class and upper class folks. Those leaving are the middle class and poor. The 5-year change in middle income has dropped 6.4%. 5-year change in tuition, it's up almost 9%. Yeah, things are getting expensive while the middle class wages are dropping. If you want to buy a house, the median home list price is about $550,000. That means you need about $110,000 for your 20% down payment for your mortgage. It's brutal in California. Not as bad as some of the others on this list, but it's got a lot of other issues beyond money. Number 6, Rhode Island. Rhode Island is the smallest state, and most people not from that part of the country often forget it's there. The most common response when someone just got done reciting all 49 states, they say, "Oh yeah, and Rhode Island." It isn't good to be in the middle class in the ocean state. The 5-year change in middle class income has fallen 6.7%. Now, their in-state tuition in that same amount of time, 5 years, has risen almost 20%. That means on average, you're paying just over $13,000 to go to school in the state as a resident. If you're thinking about buying a house, the median listing price is $324,000. That means you got to have about $64,000 as a down payment for that mortgage. It's rough and little roady. Number 5, Alaska. Alaska has always had a solid working middle class. It has always been a place for people that love nature, like cold weather, want to avoid lawyers, and are sick of the rest of the United States for the most part. The cost of living in Alaska is high because almost everything needs to be shipped there. I was in Soldotna last summer. The grocery stores there have 2030 prices right now in 2020. It's getting harder to be a middle class person in Alaska. Middle class and below, I should say. The 5-year change in middle class income has dropped 7.33%. Now, the house prices there aren't terribly expensive on average. The median listing price is only $288,000, but the 5-year change has been up 12%. So your 20% mortgage down payment is going to be a little over $57,000. Number 4, Hawaii. Hawaii has always had a crazy high cost of living. Much like Alaska, everything's got to be shipped there. Well, everything but pineapple and macadamia nuts in Hawaii. They got other things, but those are my favorites. I just read that a Greek guy in Canada was the first one to put pineapple on pizza. You'd think the Hawaiians would have figured that one out a long time ago. They have a big meeting on the beach. How do we get the Howleys to eat more pineapple? One of them goes, "We put it on pizza. That's all they eat there." And then they're, "Oh, that's disgusting. No one ever eat pizza with pineapple on it. Get out of here. That's gross." The 5-year change in the middle class income has dropped 7.8% in Hawaii. At the same time, the 5-year change in the median home value is up 26%. You got to come up with $126,000 on average for your down payment for a house in Hawaii. It's expensive there. The monthly mortgage payment in Hawaii, this is the average. Okay, it's $2,450. There's places in Indiana where the average mortgage is $400. Number 3, New Jersey. The Garden State is known for a lot of things. Beautiful land, turnpikes, Tony Soprano, and toxic waste dumps, affectionately referred to as Superfund sites. New Jersey has just under 9 million residents, and almost 5 million of them are considered middle class. Blue-collar, hardworking people that use the F word far too much and say things like, "Get out of my face before I smack it." It is expensive to live in New Jersey. They're always in the top 10 most taxed states out of any list you could find. They always have the highest taxes. Not the highest, but they're always up there. In the last 5 years, the middle class income has dropped 8.57%. At the same time, tuitions at the local colleges have gone up almost 12%. Your in-state tuition is going to run you somewhere around $15,000 a year. The property tax in New Jersey is 2.44%. Number 2, Massachusetts. The baked bean state is expensive. Cape Cod and Boston help drive up the state's cost of living in a big way. People are still moving here, though. That's what's really neat. They have never had one decade where they actually lost people. Massachusetts has always been growing since the 1800 census. Most middle-class people are getting out of Boston these days. They're moving into towns and suburbs around the city and just trying to have a better life. It's just gotten far too expensive in Boston for most middle-class people. The 5-year change in the middle-class income, it's dropped 9.36%, almost 10%, getting closer. Meanwhile, housing prices have gone up almost 30%. If you want to get in a house in Boston with their average listing price being $468,000, you got to have somewhere around $93,000 for your 20% mortgage down payment. Property tax in Massachusetts is 1.22%. Yeah, they're giving a good squeeze to the middle class in Massachusetts. And number 1, New Hampshire. New Hampshire is a great New England state. It's called the Granite State and has some of the best landscapes you can find in this country. It also appears they're trying to scare their middle class into moving to Canada, at which point I imagine they'll realize it's about the same as New Hampshire and settle in North Dakota and argue with prairie dogs or something. In the last 5 years, the middle class income has plummeted 12.27% in New Hampshire. That's gross. Property tax here is 2.2%, which again is pretty rough compared to everything else in the nation. The median home value is up 31%. Now, you got your income dropping by 12%, and then home prices are going up. It's like nobody will be able to buy a home here at this rate. But home ownership right now is 75%. Considering most of the places on this list, it's hovering somewhere around 60%. So that's kind of strange. If you want to get a house in New Hampshire, your down payment for your mortgage is going to be somewhere around $60,000 because the median home listing price is about $305,000. All right, that's today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Tell me what you think about living in these states. Are they getting too expensive for you if you're middle class or any class? Do you see that the prices are going up on everything? I mean, even before the pandemic? Anyway, don't forget to leave me a comment below. Give the video a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. Everybody have a great day. Be nice to each other.